All right. Little quick one today on self-sabotage. That's a concept that I've been kind of kicking around the last few days. Just kind of like, what is it? I posted a poll on my Instagram, and there was a whole lot of people that put like, um, self-sabotage is this is how I self-sabotage. I overeat at night. I do things that I know are bad for me. That type of thing. But what is it actually? Like what are we getting at when we're looking at self-sabotaging behavior? Behavior where you're like, I know this is bad for me, but I'm doing it anyway. And it is blatantly going against everything that I'm trying to accomplish or I say I'm trying to accomplish, right? So what is it, right? Acting against your own goals, values, often without realizing it. Sometimes when you do realize it, showing up in procrastination, quitting early, emotional eating, and avoidance. Things that you know I got to get this done. I know that I'll do better if I start now, but I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait. It's not laziness or stupidity, but it's misaligned behavior rooted in fear and uncertainty. It is a lot of times we think we're lazy. A lot of times we think we just need more discipline or we're stupid. And that's not, none of those things are true with self-sabotage. Common signs of self-sabotage, constantly starting over and losing momentum. It's like you always got to get that flywheel going again. Picking fights or causing drama when things are going well. You see this a lot of times in sports teams and in like marriages and relationships where one person, it's like you just can't accept that it's going well and you're always expecting things to go bad. So becomes this like self-fulfilling prophecy where it's like once things start to turn, you're like, or you see a little hint of bad, all of a sudden you go ahead and full-fledged derail it because you just think that that's how things need to go. Talking yourself out of new opportunities. This is back to the hero's journey stuff that we talked about, like denying the call to adventure. Um, that's one where it's self-sabotaging because you're just paralyzed, like you don't move. And then feeling confused or saying, why did I do that? Why did I behave like that? Why did this, that kind of stuff. And not really understanding like why you did what you did because it was so seemingly stupid. Root causes of self-sabotage. These are big. Um, Fear of failure. If I don't do anything, then I can't fail. Right? I can't put, if I don't put myself out there, I can't fail. So I'm going to stay back or I'm going to move so slow on this that I don't get the job, I don't get the project, I don't do well on it. Like I don't get anything, right? I don't pass the promotional exam, whatever. Fear of success is a huge one. Fear of success and the pressure or changes that it brings. A lot of times we're comfortable where we're at. And it's like we like the idea of doing something bigger or better or different. And but this is safe here. This is safe here. I'm at my house. I don't want to, move for the new job. That's scary, right? That's scary. There's change. There's risk involved, and the fear of success, like and the pressure, right? The more success you have, the more pressure that builds. Um, so that's all wrapped together. Low self-worth or feeling undeserving. That's one question I always ask. Like, do you feel that you deserve this? And do you feel that you are worthy of the results that it brings when I'm asking people? And a lot of times people will hesitate with this. And it's like, yeah, I think so. Like that should be like an automatic. So if you ever ask yourself a question like, do I deserve this? Am I worthy of this? And you're not like, yeah, I think I do. Yeah, I'm 100% sure I do. If it's not a quick yes, then there's something to unpack there. Okay, that means you have a low self-worth or feeling undeserving. Do you deserve this? Are you worthy of this? And then comfort and chaos because it feels familiar. This is rooted in our nervous system and our baselines, right? So, like, if we have a chaotic baseline nervous system, uh, we are going to want to have that chaos. As ridiculous as it sounds, the the nervous system wants like homeostasis, and if that baseline is set for total chaos, and like you're gonna want to seek what that is. It's familiar. Okay, key questions to reveal sabotage. What's up, guys? If I wanted to ruin my own progress, what would I do? Right? If I wanted to ruin things for myself, what would I do? Right. And then write those down. Make a little list of those. If I was going to ruin my own progress, I would do this, this, and this. Okay. Um, am I doing any of those things right now? Probably. Probably a few. Okay. And then what am I afraid would happen if I actually succeeded? Like what would change? What would be scary, right? What would be scary if you actually got what you were looking for? Okay. That's a hard one. That's a hard one to unwrap. But if you sit with it for a while, you'll come up with some ideas. All right, how to break the pattern. Bring awareness to your patterns and your triggers. You've got to map these out, right? I've sat down before. I'm probably due to do it again. Sit down and write out your cycles. Like, what do you do on a daily basis and where you run into problems? And then put like big X's or circles or whatever around the areas that it's like, you know, procrastination comes right here, right? Um, you know, and then name the fear behind the sabotage. Reframe your identity and self-talk. That's a good one to do, right? So like your identity. I'm the type of person who loses weight. I'm the type of person who gains muscle. I'm the type of person who works out every day. James Clear talks about this in Atomic Habits, like making sure that you're the type of person that X and fill in the blank. Build structure and simple systems that reduce decision fatigue. All right, let's talk about decision fatigue for a minute. If I have a plate of cookies and I set it on the counter in the kitchen and I walk in and out of that space, I don't know, 20 times a day, I might be good for the first 18 times, but at some point I hit a wall with my decision fatigue and I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna eat a cookie. And then who knows what happens after that? Potentially, I eat two cookies. Potentially, I eat one cookie, or I eat all the cookies. Okay, because the floodgates are now open, and depends how my mindset is. Like, oh, I had one cookie, screw it, the day's ruined, and I throw the baby out with the bathwater, and all is lost. Right. But if you build structure into that, and you understand where your decision fatigue comes to a head, then you can safeguard yourself from that. Okay. If you eat while you watch TV, maybe move the TV, right? Or sit in a different room where you aren't going to have access to the food as easily, as readily available. Those are all things that you can just kind of safeguard yourself against it, right? Um, if you look at your phone at night, you can move the phone. Okay. Environmental hacks, right? We've talked about that before. We're saying again that David Goggins, Jocko Willink, and all these ultra disciplined people, they're just really good at hacking their environment. I mean, that's a big part of it. They're just really good at hacking their environment and make sure they don't have access to the things that they're tempted by. So therefore, they don't have to face that decision fatigue as often. And therefore, you can be more disciplined. Boom, there you go. Okay. Forgive yourself quickly and keep moving forward. This is a balance of grace and discipline. And I was just looking at this again today. You have to allow yourself grace to fail because this is not going to be a perfect process. And if you understand that, then you can further reframe your identity, right? Because you're allowing yourself grace to not be perfect, but you're also not allowing yourself a complete out to always mess up. That's a big one. The deeper truth here. Self-sabotage is a signal, not a flaw. It's telling you something. And really, a lot of it is to do with your nervous system. And your nervous system's asking, is it safe out here? Is it safe for me to grow? Is it safe for me to expand? Right. And again, going back to that, like, what's your baseline? If your nervous system baseline is chaos and that's what you thrive on because that's just how you've always been, then you're always going to try to get to that point, even if you have to create it yourself in the midst of things that are good and not chaotic. And it's like, no, I'll just create it myself. Therefore, I'm comfortable in this, right? That's not productive. So you have to learn how to adapt your nervous system and how to reboot that and how to like get that baseline to lower. Okay. Your job is to build daily confidence, safety, and consistency. And that is a work in progress, right? So you adapt these identities, right? If we go back to that previous slide, right? Reframe your identity and self-talk, okay? Build discipline, confidence, safety, and consistency. That's how you do this, right? Um, Build structure and simple systems, consistency. All right, one at a time. If your issue is meals, right, then just start with one. This is what we do with one-on-one stuff is that we go one meal at a time, get it dialed in, and then next week get the next one dialed in. And then the week after that, you get the next one dialed in. And then you layer, consistency, consistency. And if we start, backsliding where we have issues, then we put the brakes on, right? And we develop this patterns and consistency before we start layering further. All right. And then you add it with, nervous system regulation and all of the reframing of identities. And, that's how you put it together, right? And with practice, sabotage fades and your true identity takes over. All right. Your true identity is what's underneath. It's underneath the scared kid that's keeping you at bay, right? Keeping you locked up. All right. And the more you practice these things, the more you identify these things, the more that their power fades against you, right? And you will no longer be saying one thing but doing another because that feels very out of integrity and out of alignment. And then that provides, honestly, a shame cycle as well. So there's a whole lot of stuff that goes into this. This is just kind of a quick flyby on it, but it's something to really, really work through is self-sabotage, right? How am I sabotaging myself? Because a lot of times we point fingers at other people and it's like, nope, right here. This guy's the problem. Okay, this guy's the problem. Mm. Um, you can put drinking in there. You can fill in the hole with whatever issue that you are personally dealing with, right? Or whatever issues, or maybe if you don't know, you've hit a wall in your progress, and you're like, I don't know why. Then maybe we are locking things down for ourselves somewhere, and that's worth a look. Okay, so um, so yeah, so if you need some assistance with this, if we can't figure out where the problems are, then I would say let's get on a phone call and let's work through this process and figure out where the sticking point is, and then we'll go from there. Okay. The programs that we run and the coaching that we do is a lot designed to deal with this, right? This is a primary thing that is an issue with a lot of people, right? And I'd like to say that training and nutrition, and if I just give you the workouts and give you the meal plans that like, hey, you're going to have success, and that's not the case. Okay. Those are easy. Anybody can do that. Any program works if you stick with it, but why aren't you sticking with it? Okay. That's an issue. All right. And once we identify that, then it's usually like not smooth sailing. There's always issues, but it gets better and we start making progress. So give me a call and we'll take care of this.